That's right down here.
Yeah, it is. You and your little Amtrak station there, and
daggone
you're
it,
hearing all
man.
up from Marshallon incinerating humans.
Yeah, you know there's some aliens flying around this place.
And I've been to Indianapolis. I mean, I was on a road trip
It's
through
a
there
dead
last
town,
year.
though. It's a dead town. You know, we may have won the Super Bowl, but as soon as it was over, we went back to being total deadness.
Well, you know what amazed me about Indianapolis
Yeah.
is that it's a lot like Cleveland in the fact that when you come into the town, you have these huge, wide highways.
Yeah.
But there's no traffic.
Yeah, that's it.
And so why the need for all these wide highways? And you're thinking, well, it's probably for all these military trucks that are going to be dominating Indianapolis.
Which is interesting. You may not know, but they are now putting all the way around these super wide highways, these 20-foot walls on both sides of the highway. They say it's to deaden the sound, but it looks to me like it's to block your view of UN traffic going through there.
Exactly, because you know what? They did the same thing in Cleveland. They put those huge walls up talking about sound barriers, but you know they're trying to prevent people from seeing all the military trucks that will be operating at night.
Yeah. And so now, have you ever seen any of these tractor trailers with the guillotines in them?
I've seen pictures of them. I've never seen them personally.
Now, are you on a red or blue list, Jerry?
Well, I wouldn't. I don't know. I would imagine.
Right. You're probably on a lot of lists, aren't you?
You know, whatever happens to me is what the Lord allows in His timetable. I'm not worried about them.
Yeah. Okay. Jim from Missouri would like to know, are you aware of any openings to enter Earth?
Oh, sure. The North Pole, the South Pole.
You know, I have a link on my website actually from an early explorer that went up to the North Pole. His name escapes me now, but I guess I got it on my website.
Admiral Byrd.
Yeah, but what he said was there's an opening up there. Do you agree with that? I mean, did somebody know that really happened?
Well, I don't know about his story per se, but we know that there's openings there. We know that Hitler was fleeing to the South Pole during the World War II. He had taken a whole navy with him.
Really?
And that's where they fled, was to the South Pole. He allegedly died in Brazil, an old man. And so, yeah, when you get into, there's tons, and I hear from a guy out in Africa was telling me about this city. It's right on the border of Egypt somewhere. I can't remember the name of the country. But right underneath the ground there, if you were to drill a hole and go down a couple hundred miles, you would run into the city that they depicted in Star Wars.
Really? Why don't some good, faithful military people drop some nukes down these inner Earth openings?
I don't, it wouldn't hurt.
I mean, would you if you had the nuke right there?
Well, if the Lord allowed it. I mean,
that's not going to kill an alien anyway, is it? He's just going to get a suntan, isn't he?
Yeah, it could. They're afraid to death of death. Kind of redundant. They're afraid of death of death. But they're afraid to die. They're afraid to face judgment.
Really?
So that's why they hide so much, and why they hide behind humans, and why they hide behind ships and things, because they're afraid to die.
Yeah, I want to take one of their 6 fingers and push it back. That'll make them confess whatever they're doing.
It's one thing I don't understand, because how do you kill one? What happens when they die? Do they just come back as get another body? I don't know.
No doubt about it. They'll come back and claim some more souls and keep their self alive, won't they?
Yeah, well, he's got a very vast empire. I'm going to do a show Tuesday night in my talk show on Tuesday night about Satan's empire and Satan's kingdom, to get more into, kind of wake people up about what his empire is really like, because, the churches put people to sleep thinking Satan's burning, rotting, suffering in hell. And we would like him to be, but he's not,
Hey,
he's very high tech.
Okay. Mike from Reading, Pennsylvania wants to know, do you believe that the book of Enoch is inspired by the Most High?
I love Enoch. I love Enoch.
I like it because mainstream church doesn't like it. So, I mean, I've just been a stick in the mud. You know what I'm saying? If they don't like it, I figure it's probably good.
Yeah, and it is. Well, the first 10 chapters of Enoch will tell you just about everything you could imagine reading on my website. Just in the first 10 chapters of Enoch. Yeah. That's why they got rid of him. That's why they didn't want him in the KJV.
Hey, now how stupid is Satan, though? Because doesn't he, by and large, use the same tricks over and over? Does he have any new material?
No, I mean, you know what? He deceived Eve in the Garden of Eden by questioning, did God really say? You don't really have to obey him. Yeah. He did the same thing in the New Testament with Paul.
Well, if you know the end of the devil and his tricks, and the Bible purports to say the end of him, he must be able to read. I mean, he's always trying to rewrite it, so he has to read it to make it wrong. So why doesn't he understand that his case is going to be over anyway? Why don't he just give up?
Well, he doesn't believe that.
Really?
He doesn't believe he's going to lose.
He all kind of dumb?
He doesn't believe it. And you know what? His followers don't believe it either. I've been in, and I'm not talking about human followers. It's amazing. I mean, I've been in emails with this Sananda that's coming as Jesus and Satan himself. They have email addresses.
Yeah,
And
what's he all about?
and they're very good, and
Really?
that's why I'm very careful about what I say, because I don't want people talking to them, because
Yeah.
they're so good at what they do and how they masterfully twist Scripture.
Yeah.
They really, they do not believe they're going to lose in 1 second.
Yeah.
The war is on,
Well,
and
maybe
they are sure they're going to win.
maybe they need to go to SherryShrinerTalkRadio.com and find out, and if they listen to some audio, maybe they'll be convinced. What do you think?
Well, they read all my stuff. They listen to all my stuff. I see it all the time in the Bible codes, because I'll see something I've come out with that they're annoyed with and angry with and blah, blah, blah. They're very aware.
I got this one question, can sum up a number of questions I have in here. What Bible do you suggest to read?
Like I said earlier, I read the KJV. I just don't read Paul. They put those books together and don't read them.
Well, I've learned a trick, because I can't stand the notes in the Bible. So I'm reading through there. If I see something in italics, at least the King James goes on to say, by doing that, lets you know that's not originally in there, whereas the NIV puts it in there like that's gospel. So
NIV is terrible. That's the Masonic translation of the KJV.
So maybe an alien can wipe. No, never mind. Hey, here's a question. What about the serpent seed? What's going on with that?
Oh, I have a whole website on it, serpentseedline.com.
Yeah.
One of my latest heated things. I was waiting for you, and wondering if you were going to bring that one up. Well, you talk about hatred and fights over the internet. The serpent seed just crawls all over that one.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's get into it. What's going on with serpent seed?
Well, you know what? In Genesis 3:15, the Lord says to Satan, "I'm going to put enmity between your seed and my seed."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He does.
And you can break down all of the words. You can take the Blue Letter Bible, do a Strong's Concordance search on every single word that's said. It is literal offspring. It is little children. You can look in the New Testament, in John and everywhere, where he talks about you have the father, the devil, talking to scribes and Pharisees and Sadducees, because they were literally the offspring of the devil. Satan has seed on earth. He has offspring on earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the war is between his seed and the Lord's seed. And the dominant traits with Satan's seed throughout the centuries have always been the same. They rule the banking. They rule the governments. They're always in charge, and they become the oppressors of all of the other people. The Edomite Jews in Israel today are serpent seed. They're not the real Jews, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. There's a remnant there, but they're the New World Order agenda, the Zionist agenda in Israel today is a serpent seed agenda. They're all serpent seed line.
Okay. To answer this question, was there something going on between Eve and the serpent?
Well, I'll be blunt. Can I be blunt? I'll just be blunt.
Be blunt. Go ahead.
They had sex. They had Cain.
Whoa.
And that's why you'll see a lot of this New World Order that refer to themselves as the sons of Cain. The whole thing of the whole story, the imagery of the tree and the apple was a story. It was an allegory. It covers up a sexual union that took place.
And that's based on what?
Based on do a breakdown of all of the words, the verses that were used of the story of the Garden of Eden. You can take it, like I said, take it to Blue Letter Bible, run it through the Strong's Concordance, every word that's used. The whole thing of how she looked upon the fruit and saw that it was good. Everything is just masked for a sexual union.
Okay, so
and I have this on my website, The Serpent and the Illuminati, whole article on it.
So you're saying the tree was what, representative of a man of some sort?
Well, the Lord has always used tree in reference to man or angels. And he can either be talking about angels, he can talk about man, or he can be talking about a literal tree. So it's either, it's literal or symbolic. In this instance, when he's talking about the trees in the Garden of Eden, he's talking about the angels that were in the Garden of Eden.
Okay, so of the percentage of people on the earth, how many of them are of the serpent seed and how many of them are of the good seed?
Well, I would say dominant. Well, the thing is, though, because when you say this, people freak out. What if I'm of the serpent seed?
Yeah.
Let me say this first, the fact that when the Lord redeemed mankind, he made his redemption available to all. So whether you are serpent seed or not, you can accept his redemption.
So they have a chance. If any serpent seeds are listening to the show, they have a chance. Yes,
and most people don't realize, the Lord said that as in the days of Noah will be the last days, which means 98% of humanity is going to be contaminated with human and alien DNA. We have bad, contaminated DNA.
Yeah.
And this whole thing with junk DNA is exactly that. The reason they call it junk DNA because they don't know what to do with it because it's just junk DNA. It's not human DNA. And so people, regardless, I get emails, don't be, freaking out. What if I'm on the serpent seed? How can you tell if you're the serpent seed? I'll give you the strongest indication of serpent seeders is that they have no human compassion. They can't show pity. They can't show empathy.
Mm.
Look at some of these cold serpent sealiners like Dick Cheney, George Bush Jr., Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton. Murder is sport to them. Suffering is sport to them.